Hi there, I'm Coach Amy, Precision Nutrition Certified Nutrition Coach with Results Fitness, and the recipe I have for you today is a chicken Philly cheesesteak skillet. So to get started, I already started the chicken breast, so I have about 1.5 pounds of chicken breast in here that I cut into thin strips. So that has been cooking for a few minutes now. And in addition to that, I have 1 sliced onion and 3 sliced bell peppers, again, sliced into strips. And then I'm also going to need garlic, butter, salt, pepper, Italian seasoning, garlic powder, and some provolone cheese. I also have a little bit of butter here too, just to add about a tablespoon to cook the veggies when I'm ready to throw them in there. So like I mentioned, I already started the chicken, and this has been cooking for probably about 5 or 6 minutes now. So I would say it's about 80% of the way cooked through. I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of butter and then add my veggies from there. All right. And you will notice a difference, if you use a high quality grass-fed butter, it has a fantastic taste. This one that I have here is actually an Irish butter, Kerrygold. So if you're not familiar with that, I highly recommend it. It has a fantastic taste. All right, so I'm gonna let this butter melt just a little bit. I've already added some salt and pepper to the chicken as well, so that's already been seasoned. All right, and now that the butter is melted, I'm gonna add the peppers and onions. And these will probably take about 4 or 5 minutes to cook, depending on how cooked you like your veggies. Sorry, the skillet's super loud. I like my veggies to stay crunchy, so I only cook them for a few minutes. All right, and from here, I'm gonna add about a tablespoon of garlic as well. So fresh minced garlic. Of course, I have the Costco size jar because garlic is my all-time favorite. So this is a spin on a traditional Philly cheesesteak. Sometimes you'll see them made with steak, sometimes you see them made with chicken. They're usually covered in ooey gooey cheese on, like a huge sub roll, whatnot. So again, this is just a little bit of a lightened up version of that. We're still gonna add some cheese to it. It's still gonna have the ooey gooey goodness, but it's scaled back because you'll learn with cheese and butter and things of that nature, a little bit goes a long way. And you could still get a fantastic taste with using much less than a typical recipe that you would find in a restaurant. All right, so from here, I'm going to add the Italian seasoning, salt, pepper, and garlic powder. Okay, and I'm just gonna mix that all together. This is another great recipe, to make in a large batch for a crowd, meal prep for lunches, whatnot. And you can use this as a base for a number of things. You can eat it just like this as is, maybe put it on top of a bed of greens and make sort of like a salad out of it. Brown rice is another good base to use with this as well. Or even still go the sandwich route, get a really good multi-grain roll. Put this on top, you still have the cheese, veggies, protein, all of that goodness mixed in there. So feel free to experiment. Again, this is just the base. You can use this a number of different ways. Cauliflower rice is another one. I've used this on top of cauliflower rice as well. Okay. So from here, I'm just gonna let these veggies cook a little bit more. They're still a little crunchy, but again, that's how I like it. If you like your veggies soft, you can certainly let this cook for longer. And you're also going to need a lid for the skillet that you use, because once we add the sliced provolone, we're going to top the skillet with the lid and let that cheese melt over everything. All right, so depending on how much you use, you're gonna need anywhere from 4 to 6 slices of cheese. Because I had more chicken than I expected, I had a big pack. Probably gonna use 6 to 8 pieces of cheese, and this is easily gonna make about 6 servings. So since the veggies are how I like them, I'm just gonna lay my cheese on top and cover the surface. All right. And you don't have to cover the entire thing. Don't forget, the cheese is going to melt, so you're gonna have a little bit of time. You know, you don't have to cover it all up. All right, then I'm gonna cover this. Usually takes about a minute or two for that cheese to melt. This smells really, really good too, by the way. All right, so while we wait for that cheese to melt, again, just to reiterate, you can use this for a number of different things. Brown rice, use it as a salad topper, you know, still make a sandwich with it. One of my favorite multi-grain rolls to use are a brand called Dave's Killer Bread. It's a fantastic bread, tons of greens and seeds and whatnot, a little bit additional protein, and they're super tasty. You know, it doesn't taste like, you know, dry or anything of that nature with, you know, all the grains and whatnot. They're delicious and one of my all-time favorites. So when I find them, I usually try to stock up. So, you know, don't hesitate to put this on a roll if you still want to use it as a sandwich. Okay, and this is melting pretty nicely. So just a few more seconds. I'm actually going to turn the heat off on this because it's nice and steamy in there. All right, so, and again, you don't have to use chicken as your protein. If you wanted to use beef, you could certainly use a lean beef and cut it into strips. Sirloin is one of my favorites. If I use a beef version of this, you could get a nice lean sirloin steak, cut it into thin strips, use it in place of the chicken. All right, and I'm just gonna plate this real quick so you could see what it looks like. And like I mentioned, this is still super cheesy, delicious. You know, is it a lightened up version of what you would find in a restaurant? Absolutely. But again, things like cheese and butter and whatnot, you know, you could still enjoy them in moderation. And when it comes to recipes like this, a little bit goes a long way. So, you know, whereas a restaurant, they may put like, you know, 3, 4, 5 slices of cheese on there, you'll find, you know, you could really easily get away with one. Okay, so there you go. Quick and easy skillet, you know, probably about 15 minutes tops to get that ready. Again, easily 6 servings in there. So lunches for the week, you know, feeding a big family, a crowd, perfect recipe. And as always, if you try the recipe, let me know your thoughts if you enjoyed it, and have a great day.